I found this a really weird transition then to go back to, some quite pretty faces, but I'm not a fan of this girl. It turned out really poorly. I'm sure the model in the picture is much prettier than I have done justice now. But this guy, I think that's quite a difficult pose, where you're sort of half looking up someone's nose, which, I mean, isn't always a most attractive angle, but it's a hard pose to draw. So I was quite happy with that one. And these two, oh, I love these. I actually showed them to my husband, and I think this one was one of his favourites too. I think this statue makes several appearances as well throughout the 100 Heads challenge, so he might be one we look at again. Something about the Pentel brush pen, the fluidity of the lines and how thin you can get the lines versus these, nice thick chunky lines for the shadows, really works for traditional statues. So I really like that one. This is a bit of a mixed bag page. I don't know quite what I was up to. I think I did these two in very similar styles and I got a bit bored, so I think I went to this style, and then I wasn't a huge fan of that, even though it is just the line work, which I do better. Next to these two, it just didn't look so good, so then I went and did a slight ink wash, because I have a brush pen that I filled with part ink, part water, to just do this. So, and that looks nice. I think it's another statue, hence the sort of blank dead eyes. And I really quite like that one, but it's very bland and boring next to these two on the same page. So at this point, I think I started to get more into the swing of things. I put some boxes around certain pictures that doesn't necessarily denote what I thought of them. It just breaks up the page. It makes it a bit more exciting to look at, I think. Breaks up a lot of the white space you see otherwise. Now this one, I don't know why, I decided to go in with a biro and it got a bit crazy. Then I decided to try like watercolour pens, and it was something I hadn't tried before, and I don't know why I tried it on top of biro. It was all a bit of a chaotic mess, but that's okay. He is what he is. It's fine. But I had a bit of a bad page. This girl turned out amazing, and then this girl, I just hated it. Once again, I tried out these watercolour brush pens, couldn't make it what I wanted to make it, so I just resketched her next to this one, and I don't mind this page now. Looking back on it, you can see I was struggling with another medium, and sometimes it takes a while of pushing back and forth to find your happy ground within a medium and what you like to do with it and what you don't like to do with it, so that's okay. But this one I just love. It gives me some kind of fantasy vibes. I don't know, I just really love the fact that it's a drawing of a statue and yet she looks really lifelike, and I don't know, I just really love that one. That is definitely one of my favourites. Now this page, like I said, I'm definitely getting more into the swing of things now. These all look much more finished and less sketchy. I was using the ink wash and that was creating some lovely mid-tones, trying to get some nice shadow in as well, and I really enjoyed this. Once again, statues that I would never normally draw, people who I would never normally draw, beardy blokes. There's a lot of beardy blokes, but I really like this page, and I really like to see, obviously it sounds very full of myself, but I like to see myself doing things I wouldn't normally do and doing them well. Maybe not doing amazingly, but doing them in a way that I wouldn't have expected myself to achieve. Now this page, can you tell the point at which I kind of didn't like the page. Because if I cover that up, I feel like I like this page, and if I take that hand away, I don't like this page. It's interesting because it's a mix of ink wash and pencil and pen. So this girl, I thought turned out absolutely gorgeous, but I'm not so keen on the way I shaded her face. It really flattens her back. Doesn't give her any cheekbones or anything. Once again, not doing her much justice as a three-dimensional human being. This guy, something kind of atmospheric about it, kind of like the intensity, the depth in his eyes, so that worked out really well. And then there was this one which just became flat, and once again, it's that shading thing I've talked about. When I try and do shading with pen and I do it as hash marks, I end up flattening things quite quickly. It's not so bad when I do it with pencil. Now, this wasn't my best performance, I'll say that, but yeah, definitely a lot harder with pen. This girl, I think she was Indigenous American. I just thought she was gorgeous, and there's a really tense expression in her eyes. You know, she was sort of looking kind of confused, and I enjoyed painting her hair, all of that. It's really fun. I love those fluid lines. This was another page which, when I showed my husband, he really liked these characters because it's kind of that fantasy vibes of, you know, dwarven characters and barbarians fighting and things like that. And for some reason, this guy just makes me think of Mulan. Something about the way I've drawn him that makes me think of the Disney characters in Mulan. I don't know what I did, but yeah, it's fine. It turned out okay. Once again, these aren't my favourites, but they are who they are. Now this page, I think I just started cramming them in because I was like, I just need to power through, because like I say, I was trying to finish this before I did the October drawing challenge I did. I liked this guy. Once again, he's a face I wouldn't normally draw, and I feel like I did a pretty good job on him. Didn't like this guy. There wasn't enough detail in the photo for me. I didn't want to try and make it up, so I just abstracted it a bit more. These two turned out gorgeous. I love these pencils, sketches, the depth in the shading. Now, this is a good example of pencil shading. Well, cross-hatching done better by me. So I was a lot happier with this one. And this little figure down here, I really like her. There's something intriguing about that one. So, yep. And then, once again, started having some more fun. I decided to get out coloured pencils, which I had a bit of difficulty with at first. I think the pencils I've got are really hard, and I'm used to quite soft pencils, so I was really having trouble at first, and that's why you can see I've like absolutely destroyed the paper here. Absolutely tore it to shreds, but that's okay. I love this woman. She turned out so well. And this orc is what I keep thinking. Once again, another one of my husband's favourites. And this guy, I think I just did really quickly. It was probably the end of the night, time for bed. Just did a quick one to end the night with. I mean, I'm really happy with that part. He's okay. And I got a bit funky with some borders and stuff, you know, why not? Have some fun. So I stuck a page together here. I cannot remember for the life of me what I put on that page in between, but I obviously hated it. Now we have a very nice Gandalf here, who I was really proud of, because once again, it's another page where I've done cross-hatching and I've done it well. I've created 3 dimensions with the cross-hatching. I haven't flattened any of the planes of his face back. He's actually got cheekbones. He's actually got depth to his eye sockets. His nose comes out of the page. And I really love the character in this one. This guy, he's okay. I don't know. I don't know if I did him that well, but he's okay. And this page was really fun. Really fun to do. I think at this point I started to figure out I really liked using the ink wash in these sketches, and when you put it on a black background as well, oh, chef's kiss. It was so good. Once again, faces I would not normally ever venture into drawing, but they turned out well and I like them, so I'm proud. I'm proud! This is that fella again who I said we would see him again. I had trouble with this painting. I think once again I tried to use those watercolour pens and it didn't work, and that's okay. It happens sometimes. It's fine. I think I might have also used a fineliner that wasn't waterproof without realising it, and that annoyed me. But it's okay. He wasn't that great this time around. He was definitely better in the first edition. And these guys, I just went a bit more playful with the paint on them. I was at a bit of a... I seem to remember at this point I was a bit of a stuck time because I knew I wanted to get this finished before October. I was at 80, I was pretty close, I knew I could do it, but oh, some of these faces, they're just not my thing. It's out of my comfort zone. I can't just quickly bash them out. I've got to actually concentrate. You know, I've actually got to take some time and consider how I'm going to draw it, and for some reason it was not how I was feeling at that time. And sometimes you go to your sketchbook and you're not going to create a masterpiece, and that's okay. I still learnt things even from this page, whether that's just learning that using green and blue in such washed out tones with grey, it's not going to give you enough contrast. I need to go in deeper, which is kind of what I've done down here. He's got a lot more contrast to him. Yeah, I did still learn things. This page is quite a fun one. I remember this being a fresh day, a fresh start. Sometimes you come in fresh, and that's part of why it's easier. Sometimes you reach the end of the day and you're just in the swing of things, and that makes it easier. But sometimes it is still a struggle. And this guy, I really like the way I did the shading on him. I always find it tough when there's exposed teeth, but it works for him, it works. This was like a doll that kind of looked like an anime character, I think, and doesn't look very human. You know, is it a doll? Is it a person? Am I just really bad at drawing humans? Who knows? Not my favourite. This guy, I love. I just love the line work I did with the brush pen, colours. It's a bit more fun, a bit more playful, and bright and colourful, and that's what I like to do. I like to make things that bright and colourful and a bit fun and a bit playful, especially in your sketchbook, because your sketchbook should be the place you can go and play. So this page, once again, there's characters that I would not normally even attempt to draw, and I was pretty pleased with these. I kept them monochromatic. I think, again, because it's out of my comfort zone, that's my go-to, my basic way of drawing. Because I'd done all of those, I wanted to do something a bit more colourful. I wish I'd done a bit more pencil on top of her to bring out the highlights more, because the shadows aren't pushed back very far. But overall, it's okay in the sense of it's in proportion. She looks like she's got her eyes shut, she looks like she's asleep. It's just the shading side of it. And now we were getting towards the end here. So I was like, okay, right, pump them out. Let's get this done. Full page of pencil sketches. She turned out really nice at the top, definitely. This guy, once again, not something I'd normally draw. I'm okay with it. This one was really... It was a really cool picture, but there was just so much detail, and I wasn't in the mood for detail at that point, in case you couldn't tell. I think I just did a quick finish off at the end of the day, a few last sketches. I really like this one. And yeah, I didn't do a lot with it. Sometimes it's the most basic ones that I like the most. And Here we go. Here's some blokes, some beardy blokes again. At this point I could tell I was at the end of the challenge just from how I was drawing things. I was drawing things quicker, I was drawing them easier, but I was rushing myself a bit at this point. I wanted to get it done. So I didn't go in as much. I didn't have as much fun with them. So for the last one, I wanted to do a larger portrait. And this is what I came up with. It's a very basic face, but I wanted to have fun with watercolour. I would say the most important thing I got out of this was just being more confident in my capacity to draw faces. I don't get them perfect every time. If I did, I wouldn't still be working my sketchbook all the time, probably. I'd be like, hey, everybody look at how awesome my faces are. I'm pretty pleased with the majority of it. Let me just see if I can find a favourite out of all of them for a final ponder. So I think the most important thing about doing any challenge, but in particular if it is a challenge where there are, say, more direct instructions or reference photos to follow, you will get to a point where you're okay with the fact that it's outside of your comfort zone. And for me, that took quite a long time. All these hairy blokes and beautiful sculptures, so many beautiful sculptures in this challenge. Yeah, it took me a while to be like, okay, yeah, I can take on that challenge. Some of these were really daunting still. And so to look at it now and be like, oh wow, I actually did that and it looks good. And sometimes that's the beauty of looking back on something a few months later, is you can look back and go, that's not as bad as I remember it. I remember it being a struggle, I remember it being hard, but I don't actually remember how good it looked at the end. And that's one of the things I took away, was being out of your comfort zone won't always be out of your comfort zone. And I think I've always enjoyed portraiture, so 100 Heads challenge was a perfect challenge for me. But I always just end up drawing pretty women, and I need to branch out and avoid that to a certain extent, because otherwise you end up with that same face syndrome problem where every time you go to draw, you draw the same person, same face, and you didn't even realise. And I don't want to get there. I hope to upload a video once a week. We will see how that goes. Obviously, life may get in the way at certain times and it won't be one video a week. But I am hopeful. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that that happens. And I'm going to try my best. I really am. I really want to make this a thing, a regular thing. I hope you enjoyed my video. If anyone gets to see this and anyone has watched till the end, please like and subscribe. I would be very glad to have some followers along for the journey. So thanks very much. Have a good day, night, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this, and hopefully you'll see more of me soon. Bye.